Murder cases often have controversial, unsatisfying, and questionable conclusions because the only people who know what truly happened are the suspect and the victim. In murder cases, there is only an opportunity for the suspect to tell their story, while evidence must speak for the victim and the true motive of these crimes. Today, we will be discussing the controversial case of a 21-year-old pregnant woman, Amber Hilberling, who sadly pushed her husband, Josh Hilberling, out of a 25-story building and claimed it was an accident up until her death. Today, we will be going to Tulsa, Oklahoma, the second largest city in the state, split by the Arkansas River. Tulsa is known for its deco art, looking like something out of The Great Gatsby, and the city has large plans for future urban development. Tulsa is also unpopularly recognized by name because of its appearances on the popular show Live PD. This is also where a younger Josh Hilberling met his future wife, Amber, for the first time at a Halloween party back in 2008, but they didn't begin dating until 2 years later. After finishing the Air Force Academy in the summer of 2010, Josh was sent orders to move to Alaska, and Amber wasn't approved to move on base because they weren't married. This didn't stop the two who were in love, and they quickly applied for a marriage certificate. In August of 2002, Amber became Miss Hilberling. Soon after, in October of 2010, Amber and Josh moved to Ellison Air Force Base, located 26 miles southeast of Fairbanks, Alaska. Unfortunately, after moving to Alaska, their honeymoon phase ended abruptly, and their relationship began to crumble. Although the relationship looked fine from an outsider's perspective, things were not as they seemed. Amber became pregnant and began feeling lonely due to being far from her family back in Oklahoma. While Josh and Amber were in Alaska, they had filed several police reports for domestic violence. One incident was called into the police by Amber after having an argument with Josh, who ended up knocking a plate out of her hand and grabbing her right breast, squeezing it hard enough to leave bruises and burst blood vessels in her chest. Police photographed the injuries, and Josh was taken into custody. However, no charges were filed after this. Less than half a year after this incident, Josh was discharged from the Air Force for unlawfully selling drugs and also for utilizing the supply. Soon after Josh was discharged, the not-so-happy couple moved back to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Unfortunately, the home being built for Josh and Amber wasn't occupiable until June 1st, so they planned to stay with Amber's mom and stepfather for a month. Shortly after moving in, Amber's mom caught Josh using drugs, and because she had a no-drug policy, she decided to kick Amber and Josh out. She still allowed them to stay in her 25th-story apartment in the University Club high-rise, the tallest residential building in Oklahoma at the time. Amber's stepfather used this apartment mainly as overflow for when his patients came into town and needed somewhere to stay. Although not the home they had planned to live in, Amber and Josh moved into the beautiful high-rise apartment with magnificent window views and truly took an elevator to the worst day in their lives. On the night of June 6, 2011, Amber and Josh ended the night with an argument that started when Josh told Amber that he no longer wanted to go to her father's marriage party. Instead, he wanted to go to a concert with his friends. The argument continued into the next morning, developing into yelling and throwing things. Josh threw a laundry basket at Amber, but it missed her and hit the window that overlooked the porch, shattering it. Amber called the building manager soon after to see if they could get someone to come and fix the window. 2 repairmen ironically were already there fixing windows, so they came into their apartment to evaluate the broken window. After taking a brief look at the window, one of the repairmen went down to his truck to grab supplies and tools, while the other repairman stayed on their apartment porch and waited with Amber. The man who stayed told Amber that he was concerned about how furious Josh was and was concerned for her safety. Amber then went back inside to continue speaking with Josh in the living room, despite what the repairman had said to her. However, this is when tragedy struck. Only moments after Amber went into the apartment, The repairman on the porch heard a loud crash when his coworker called him and told him that he saw someone fall from a window. He rushed back into the apartment, expecting to find Amber injured and Josh to have possibly committed suicide. He said that he saw Amber standing in the living room screaming in a completely broken window. A separate witness, who had happened to be taking a lunch break at the exact moment, looked up when he heard a large crash. He said that he saw something falling fast and that it took him a moment before realizing that it was a person who was falling facing straight down. He said that since it was a high-rise window that did not open, that it was easy to spot the window Josh fell from, and he noticed a woman standing there crying. Josh ended up falling 17 stories, onto an 8-story parking garage. Reports say that it took approximately 3 to 4 seconds for him to hit the top of the parking garage. Amber instantly ran out of the apartment and down the elevator to find her husband's broken body. Despite his obvious traumatic injuries, Amber screamed for someone to help him while she kissed his face. The first officer to arrive said that the scene was chaotic. The officer said that he initially thought it could be suicide or an accidental fall, but he did not suspect foul play to be involved. He took Amber away from the body and recommended that he take her down to the detectives division of the Tulsa Police Department. Throughout the entire ride, Amber remained upset and continued to ask if Josh was still being worked on and if they were able to save his life. Once Amber arrived at the police station, she was put into an interrogation room with a table in it. While sitting in an adjoining room, the officer noticed Amber talking to her grandmother about what had happened and watched the video cam footage while they talked. Did Amber mean to murder Josh, or was it all just a giant accident?
I didn't just lose my husband. Jeannie and Patrick lost their son. Zach lost his brother. This poor grandma's gonna have a heart attack when she finds out that her little Josh is gone. All I kept seeing, I just held his broken body.
Your mom and them's at the apartment. The police are talking to them. People are going to be doing their jobs. Patrick and them, they are going to come after you with everything they got. So you've got to fight for yourself.
But who fights for Josh?
When they come in and they asked you, say, I don't want to say nothing till my attorney gets here. Do you understand?
The detective's at the scene still, okay? There'll be one clearing a little bit, and they'll come down here and talk to you. Get all that, so just hang tight.
So we're gonna be here for hours.
Yeah, it'll probably be a long night. But you don't say nothing until your attorney gets here. Because they are, listen to me, they are going to poke you.
I just want to be with Josh. I just want to die.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Amber, you got that baby there.
This is Josh's baby.
That's right, that's Josh's baby. That's the only thing that Josh has got.
I wonder if his parents know yet.
I'm sure they do.
They were right. They kept saying if we stay together, I'm gonna kill him.
So
How did this happen? How did this happen? Why did he have to fall out the window? Why did Mom put us in that apartment? He was leaving. I kept just saying, and when he leaves, I'll go to my grandma's. Why didn't I just leave? He'd still be alive. I can't get the image of him out of my head, him falling out the window. If everyone's gonna think I'm a murderer, my whole family, I want to be dead, and I want Josh to be here.
What's little Levi gonna do?
They could save him.
So not only does he have to lose his dad, he's got to lose his mama too.
Please, I just want to go back and just not push him, just catch him. I mean, I still have my whole life ahead of me, and I was supposed to spend it with Josh. My baby's gonna get taken away from me. What am I gonna tell Levi?
That he had a handsome dad, and you will show his picture to him and tell him the good things about his dad.
But I know what really happened.
What really happened? You don't know what really happened. Y'all were in there. You were struggling.
I can't believe he fell out the window. Why were we there? Little Levi. He's gonna have to grow up without Dad. I want to be with Josh. And Josh probably doesn't want to be with me. This is such a bad nightmare. I just want Josh to hold me. Just one more time, and then I'll say goodbye and I'll leave him alone. But at least he'll still be there for Levi and his family.
He's gonna be there. He's gonna look over Levi.
This is just only stuff that happens in movies. I mean, I know what I have to do.
What is that? What do you have to do? You're gonna have to quit saying that.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
You didn't kill him, Amber.
I know, but it was an accident that went wrong, but because of me. I mean, I know I can't say those things. I know what I have to do to keep me and Levi safe.
You have to be open and honest with your attorney. I'm just saying that your emotions right now, you're in shock.
What if I'm just a horrible person who can't
You're
cry?
not. You're human. You're in shock. You've seen your husband that you love die. That's shock. You're
like I'm in shock?
7.5 months pregnant. You're carrying a child.
I just don't feel anything. I just keep hoping it's all. Josh is just gonna walk in here. But he's not. The way he died. Every time I close my eyes, I see it. It's like torture. As if one time seeing it isn't bad enough, I have to see it over and over. I pushed him against the wall, but it was all so fast. And I just want to know what his last thoughts were. What could you think? What could go through your head when you're falling to your death? There's like these stand-up candle things like this high. They're just like little wire things. He was like messing with the TV right here. And the window's right here. And I pushed him and he fell through the window and fell.
Sorry. I don't know what's taking them so long. Let me get your, Amber? What's your last name?
Hilberling.
I'm sorry?
Hilberling. H-E-R-L-I-N.
No.
Oh.
Hilberling.
Other detectives here, I think he's talking to one of the witnesses now, and he's got to talk to another one, then they'll be in here, all right?
I'm only 19. I have the next 60 years to think about this. I'm never gonna find someone that I love more than Josh. God, I just want to go back. He's dead. I touched his bones, all broken and sticking out of his body. Everything was bent backwards. I rolled him over and just held him. I didn't care. I'm gonna have this baby and it's gonna be just like Josh. And I'm scared because it's gonna remind me of him and look like him. And I was supposed to enjoy it with Josh. I stole his whole life away from him. He's not gonna be there when Levi's born. He's not gonna watch him grow up, watch him get married, see him have Greek. I mean, what if you lost Papa before anything ever even got to happen? I'm so sorry. What kind of person am I? I don't deserve to be here. Push Josh out the window. I mean, why? I'm not looking forward to all the nights. I'm gonna spend crying, waking up screaming, dreaming about what happened. Just can't imagine how his parents feel, or how his brother's gonna feel. He's all the way in Afghanistan. Josh was so special. He is so special. What am I supposed to say to them when they come in here?
Hi, are you Amber?
Yes.
Yeah, my name's Jeff Elton. I'm very sorry. Very sorry. I'm sorry, you...
I'm her grandmother, Gloria Bowers.
Oh, okay. I'm very sorry. We went through this. Yeah, I'd like to talk to you, get a statement as to what happened.
You
Can
want
I
me
talk
to
to her? Yeah,
step?
can I talk to her in private?
Yeah.
Thanks. How old are you, Amber?
19.
19?
I don't
How long you guys been
I
married?
can't make a statement. I don't want this to turn out bad.
Um,
My mom, I think, is calling at 30,
is that what you want to do?
and I'm not supposed to say anything till he gets here.
Okay. Who is your attorney?
I don't know.
Okay. What's your mom's?
Rhonda Whitlock.
Okay, let me just get all your information then, and we won't talk about the case at all. And I'll let your grandma come back in here.
I can't deal with this.
Would you like to, is this your water? You want another water or pop or anything? Your mom, okay?
Okay.
You want your grandma to come sit back in?
Yes, please. I can't even begin to accept this. I want you to be here. Just come back, please. I will spend the rest of my life paying for this. Everything was split open. You can see his bones and blood and guts. And I just watched him fall. Not doing anything, standing safely in the apartment.
Was you fixing to go out the door?
What do you mean?
When you fixing to come over my house?
Yeah, I was waiting for him to leave. I didn't even yell at him or anything. I don't know what happened. He was the one walking around yelling at me, being mean, and I was just cleaning up the glass. I didn't say anything mean to him. I didn't yell at him. He said, "We've got all these options." He said, "You want me?" He kept saying, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "Please make your own decisions." And he said, "Okay, I will." He said, "I want to work things out with you, but we need to be separated for a while." He had already talked to his dad. His dad was at work, so his dad was going to pick him up after he got off of work. And he was on the phone with his friend, and he just hung up with his... I don't even know if he was on the phone. I don't know. He had dumped all my laundry out, and I was putting it all back in there.
Well, you gathered your laundry up when you fixing to go out the door.
Yeah, and I couldn't leave because the guy was in there measuring the window that Josh had broke.
Was all this going on with the guy there?
He was out on the balcony, measuring the window from the outside on the balcony.
Were y'all hollering and stuff?
No. Josh was yelling, but not while the guy was in there.
He was still there?
Yeah, he was out on the balcony, and he heard me start screaming. I was screaming. Just screaming, running around. And I ran out the door to go down the elevator to go get Josh. And he came out and he was like, "Oh my God, he fell." And I was like, "I know." I was like, "I have to go get him."
Well, Josh is dead. He fell out of the window, and she can't say anything down here right now. Rhonda and them's on their way down. I'm in here with her until somebody gets here. When I get out and know a little more, I'll call you, or one of us will.
No longer did the police believe that Amber was innocent, but they knew foul play was involved. Whether it was accidental or purposeful was the question to be answered. There's still ongoing speculation about what actually happened that day, but Amber has never changed her story. According to her, the two repairmen arrived and then her and Josh went into the living room, where she describes the altercation as a yelling match, with them originally being 5 feet away from each other. During the argument, Josh reached towards Amber and grabbed her by the shoulders to shake her. It was at this moment that Amber said she thought about her unborn son and chose to immediately push Josh off of her. She said Josh then lost his balance, stumbling backwards, falling through the window and 17 stories to his immediate death. On the same day as Josh fell, June 7, 2011, Amber was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, largely based around her statement she had made in the police station. Amber's family was in complete disbelief when she was arrested for his murder. The first question that arose during the case was whether the police could or could not use the tape they had obtained of Amber in the interrogation room, before they had even read her Miranda rights. The judge ultimately decided that these statements were in fact admissible because Miranda rights only apply if a suspect was being questioned. However, Amber's statements were voluntary. 2 days after Amber's arrest, she was released on a $500,000 bond. While out on bond, Amber gave birth to her and Josh's son, Levi, in August of 2011. In December of the same year, her bail was revoked 3 times due to her not charging her ankle monitor and also failing mandated drug tests for marijuana. Just before the trial for Josh's murder began, Assistant District Attorney Michelle Keeley offered Amber a plea deal. She would admit to guilt and her sentence would only be 5 years in prison. In the end, this would mean that there wouldn't be a trial and Amber would be able to be out of prison in a maximum of 5 years, but likely less. She would also have the opportunity to be fully involved in her son's life. Although everything about this plea deal seemed to be perfect, Amber declined the plea deal, saying that she couldn't admit to something she didn't and couldn't do. Jurors were not only shown the interrogation room footage, but they were shown graphic photos from the crime scene video that showed Josh's mangled body. Medical examiner Joshua Lanter testified that Josh had numerous broken bones in nearly every part of his body and his spinal cord was torn in multiple places. During many parts of the trial, Amber could be seen looking upset. However, she cried when the jurors were shown graphic images of Josh's body. Although Amber claimed to be innocent, one of Amber's inmates at the Tulsa jail showed another side of the story. She said that Hilberling confessed in 2012 that she shoved her husband and killed the bastard, but defense attorneys were quick to point out that the inmate, Bonnie Lambden, also known as Bonnie Fulton, has an extensive record of felony charges for crimes involving lying, such as forgery and false impersonation. Even though the police originally believed that a domestic dispute had led to Josh's death, there was nothing besides the pillow and the window that looked out of place at all. There had been no appearance of any struggle in the apartment, and the first responders had seen no signs of injuries on Amber. Detectives did find packed bags at the crime scene containing men's clothing near the entrance of the apartment, and also found a copy of a protective order that had been issued against Amber from Josh. The order had been dismissed only a few weeks earlier. The window that Josh fell out of started only 2 feet above the apartment floor. Jurors were shown pictures of the jagged fragments of glass in the window that cut Josh's legs as he fell. On March 18, 2013, Amber Hilberling was convicted of second-degree murder, which does not require under law that the prosecution prove intent to kill. Amber was sentenced to 25 years in prison. The judge also ordered that Amber pay for Josh's funeral expenses in addition to a $10,000 fine. While in jail, Amber continued to claim that it was all just an accident. Unfortunately, on October 24, 2016, guards found Hilberling unresponsive in her cell at 5:30 p.m. She was pronounced dead at the scene. She was later found to have hung herself. According to Amber's parents, their daughter was not suicidal. They also accused the correctional center of mistreating their daughter, an allegation that is denied by officials. They also complained about the refusal to allow them to have their own expert present for the autopsy. The day after Amber passed away, a letter arrived at KTUL News from Amber stating that she would be willing to do an interview with them. Regardless of the questionable events that took place, there are still 2 parents who passed away, leaving behind an innocent child and more questions than answers. Amber did push Josh out of that window that day. However, was it an accident or was it on purpose? No one but Amber will ever truly know.
They kept saying, if we stay together, I'm gonna kill him.